Hello. Welcome to Elektron Talk, episode 17, where we talk about stuff, not always Elektron. But aptly named Elektron Talk, because there is always all of this stuff on the table. It's really hot in here. There's an air conditioner going. I changed my threshold for my compressor and my ducking for my voice in hopes that it would, I could cancel a little bit of the air conditioning noise that's happening. I don't know if that's going to work. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound like a machine plus the machines. I don't know, you tell me. We'll see once there's some actual people in here. Let's see, yeah. So, my name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. I do a lot of tutorial content for Elektron gear, and then I do a ton of tutorial content for non-Elektron gear through Patchworks. If you're not familiar with Patchworks, it is a synthesizer shop here in Seattle. I do recommend you check it out, because it's awesome. Who doesn't want synthesizers? Let's see, I'm going to put while I'm waiting for folks to join me here, I'm going to go ahead and invite everyone from my wonderful Discord to come and watch this stream. Let's see, how do I share? And then we're going to go copy this, and we'll go paste, send now. Cool. That ought to do the trick. For those of you who are actually here right now, I don't know if my voice is too loud or if it's clipping or something. It'd be wonderful, you told me. I have a little band-aid on my finger because my car key broke and I stuck my finger into my pocket to grab my car keys. And it's one of those electric car keys, right? And the battery prong stuck so deep into my finger that it's been bleeding all day. Pretty dumb. Okay, so let's talk about this stuff. We have some tape. We have some tape on our Elektron boxes. There's tape on the boxes here, and some of them are in some odd spots. Got dog hair on everything. It's just, the dog's gone wild. This is so that I could set the gain up for the last show. So I've been doing these shows not every Tuesday, I keep saying every Tuesday, but oh, what's up, Circo? Good to see you, dude. On Tuesdays, at the end of the month, so the last Tuesday at the end of the month, me and Jeremy Blake, aka Red Means Recording, and a guest, whoever we pick. This last month was Mikey303, who's an awesome tracker user, and he played with us, and he did a great job. He totally kicked ass. And this next show, which is going to happen right before Velocity, also at Icebox Arcade, is going to be with DN Crystal, who's a coworker of mine at Patchworks, an amazing guitar player, drummer, and electronic music producer / performer. So, really excited to have him play. Does a lot of very housey, fun, rave kind of stuff. Should be a good time. So tonight, I'm going to take a little bit of this time with people hanging out here to practice a little bit of stuff. I'm playing Velocity with some really big names, and I want my performance to be, memorable. Folks like Richard Devine and Lisa Belladonna and Daedalus and Jeremy will all be playing, and I would love to look good. So I'm gonna do some practicing, kind of arrange my set. I'm playing a 30-minute set. I think everybody's playing 30 minutes, and so I'm probably going to play like 4 songs, probably 5 songs, because the opener I'm going to do, I think, is only about 4 minutes long. A lot of the songs that I thought would sound good at like 7 minutes, they actually sound a lot better short, like around 4.5, which is still not a short song in terms of radio, but short in terms of electronic music, unless you're like a band. But I realize I write a lot of music like I write music for a band, because that's what I've known all my life. And, I'm adopting the electronic music setup, over the last, several years. I've been doing this for quite some time too, but not as long as I've played guitar and sang and just played acoustic instruments with a group. And now I'm by myself. I got to do all the arrangement myself. It's just different. So I'm going to play a song to the best of my ability and let y'all listen to it. This is my newest song that I wrote. It's got some of my modular in it, and then it's got all of this gear. So we got Octatrack's Performance Mixer, we have Digitact, we have Digitone, and we have Syntakt. And I also just released an update for Performance Mixer 2.0, is now in beta 6, or version 2.0.6, basically. So some new effects. I took some of the weirder effects out because I don't think it was getting much use from people. They're very select. I mean, I like them because they're weird, and I just like seeing the weird, but I'm going to keep designing some new ones, and we'll see where we go with that. But I like the stuff that I added, so 4 new effects, very usable for any performance. I recommend check it out if you're on the Patreon or if you want to buy it from Ko-fi. So let me make sure we got into the song right here. You could hear that was playing my OP1. That's not what we're gonna do. Okay, but we are gonna talk, let's talk about this real quick. So I had this idea, I was like, what if I do the Performance Mixer setup, but instead of it being these boxes, we have an OP1 here and a TX-6 here. And the TX-6 is really just gonna be like, I'm gonna have some compression because I don't do compression in the Performance Mixer. So I'd use the TX-6 to compress, add a little bit of high end to the EQ because I feel like we could use a little brightness with these boxes sometimes, and then maybe use some of its like more interesting performance effects, like the freeze that it has, the weird, let me show you the freeze. You can hear that this is playing and that is playing, but I can change it with my line selector. I have this cool Coleman audio line selector. They're not cheap, but they do the trick, so I can switch what I'm listening to. So here we are. Now we're listening to this box, these boxes here, and no longer can we hear the OP1 field and the TX-6. So here we go. Let's check it out, see if the song's ready. Nice. It's a good jam. It's a fun jam. You can make this stuff with 2 Volcas. Yeah. Clever. Very clever. That would be a lot of Volcas, I think, to make that many voices. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I need to reset these now. Let's see, load project. Yep, load back. Yeah, thanks, Circo. Yeah, very different from like the more techno side of things, which is what I'll be doing here. The studded snare fill. Let's check this out. Where is it? Part 3? Yeah. So I'm going to check out a couple of the new effects that I put in the performance template. Here we go. Snag a recording real quick. Okay. I think it's in this one. Alright, I don't have the new effects in here because I'm in my performance template, so I have to switch over to the other one. But I'm not going to right now. The effect is, I call it, the cool one I wanted to show is called this transformer effect, and it's basically this pitch riser. Except for as it's rising, it's taking a spatializer and I think a flanger as well. And there's an LFO moving the spatializer, and it just sounds totally insane. It sounds like there's like basically 2 risers happening at the same time, which is pretty cool and definitely really useful for electronic performance. Have you tried out any of the performance effects that people have been making on the Syntakt? No, I haven't. I mean, I've made a couple performance effects myself on the Syntakt, but I mean, it's parameter locking. There's not that many you can do. It's just a couple of filters with trigs on the effects scene. It's not the same as having a whole bunch of insert effects on the Octatrack and the ability to record and manipulate the recording live. But I'd be interested. to check it out. That's for sure. Somebody's gonna have to show that to me. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm gonna put Circo. I'm gonna let you be a mod. Whenever you're here, I'll just let you mod because you're a good cat. Okay, so another thing I wanted to chat about really quite a bit, because this is like kind of I've been playing with this stuff for a while, so I like to get to know this stuff. I definitely enjoy the TE stuff. So I bought this little adapter, not adapter, but this little hard drive here. And it actually really fits quite well. Oh, popped right off. See if I can put it up to the camera for you to see here. See if it'll show you. Actually, I'll put it back in here and let you see just how well it fits this aesthetic. If it will focus. There we go. So it looks like almost like the one they show in their little ad. And which I like, because it looks good. It's metal. Except there is this bug right now, where if you power this on while you have one of these little USB-C drives plugged in, you get this god-awful noise. And it truly is. Not a good sounding noise. See, I'll turn the dig attack down. Let's go to a pattern like this one. Okay. This wants the tempo. Yeah, we're linked. We're on MIDI sync. Let's see. $126. Okay. Okay, looking good. All right. Just for fun, we're not gonna like try and make some good music here. We're gonna try and make some really fast music using the OP1. Let's make sure this is a loop first. Actually, let's just go ahead. Use this guy. Oh yeah. I like that. There we go. Let's just throw 4 on the floor, kick drum down on this OP1 field really quick. Can pull the USB out and insert back and it works fine. Yeah, I did notice. It's not a big deal. I'm sure they'll fix it with an OS update. I mean, I'm looking forward to OS updates on both of these devices. Like, for sure. This isn't like having like bugs or anything. But I'm just looking forward to those updates. Because it'll be cool. But this is definitely, that's a bug. It needs to be fixed. But so here's the idea. So using the performance mixer the same way I use these boxes, and just writing stuff like really quickly, now that you can save to the tape. Oh yeah, and not to mention this is kind of important. You can't really see it right here, but what I have plugged in here is a USB-C to MIDI converter. Like one of those cable converters, you know what I mean? Where at the end of it, it's got 2 prongs and in and out for MIDI. And I've got one of those, and it's the only one that I've seen with reviews on that work. I have a link to it in my Discord, pinned in the Teenage Engineering section. If you're curious what it was, you can get it through that link. But it works perfectly, and when you go into the MIDI settings here, you can see... let me go back here. No, not that. List. You can see it here. It labels itself USB MIDI interface. So that's cool. I love this. This whole thing that you can have your MIDI remembered and set up in your OP1. It's kind of a game changer. Okay, so we're just going to throw 4 on the floor down. Let me find that 4 on the floor pattern. There we go. Put it on 1. What is that sound? Is that the metronome I'm hearing? It is. They're sadly not lining up with each other. Let's see. Oh, I think I know why. Let's do it again. I want to start it this way. I guess. Dang. Are we gonna get a kick on the one here? Let's find out. Out. No, we didn't. Nope, don't like that. Let's get rid of all that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna make some quick music on here, if I can. That works. Out. Let's go to 2. Actually, we could put that on 1 as well. Damn it. That didn't work at all. Sometimes the whole, like, can't undo things in the OP1, I should have lifted it so it would be saved. That's, like, just... That's only OP1 thinking. Only people who are literally thinking in an OP1 brain think that thought first. You're coming from here, you have the ability to reload and undo and all that. There's definitely some disadvantages to playing in this realm here. All right, maybe we'll just have it be the whole pattern. All right, let's see if it works for us. What do we got? Okay, I think we can work with that. I'll just slice it here, go over here, lift it. Oh wait, no, put it back down. I did the shift lift. You're just watching me stumble around here. Why is there like a lag sometimes? No, that was lagged. That was lagged. That one wasn't. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is still buggy. Okay. We'll do it on 2. No. There we go. Every once in a while it's like... does its own thing. Okay. Let's see if we can get that. Nope. That's kind of cool. Okay. let's find that. Trying to figure out, like, what am I going to... Constantine, you're gonna get a lesson soon? Oh, or what's up, man? Good to hear it. It'd be nice to catch up with you. Right now we're playing with the OP1 and the OP1 field and the TX-6 into the Octatrack. It's not super smooth. This is my first time trying this idea. Clocking it from the Octatrack, trying to do loops on here, and I was gonna try and use the performance mixer in the same way that I do with my Elektron gear, which is flawless. Not flawless. Not flawless yet. I don't know. They got some like MIDI clocking issues, like the sequencers don't start at the right time. I don't know. I mean, I love that it doesn't change the fact that I like the OP1 field, and that I think it's awesome. And I really like the TX-6. I've been using it constantly, and I just run my modular out into this, and then I have an interface for my MacBook if I want to move my MacBook over, and because that's where I do all my audio stuff for the most part. It's actually on a MacBook. This is all running into my PC, which is like my main PC that I built years ago. But all the work gets done, video editing, audio work, all gets done on the MacBook. So it's kind of nice having this little interface just over there I can pop into and run all this stuff into. I bought some slim 3.5 to 1/4 inch Y-split cables that pop in here. Battery lasts a super long time on both the units. This one sounds good, besides its weird little glitchy thing that it's got going on. For the most part, it's been pretty cool. I know it's a brand new idea, brand new concept. They put a lot into a small package. There is no doubt about that. Could have been bigger. I feel like they could have went a little bit bigger. I don't know why they had to go so darn small. Like, it is real small. It's cool, but it really could have been a little bit bigger. We got a tasty LaCroix. Coconut. One of the best. One of the absolute best. Okay, so we just need one more element to like actually try this. Maybe it's not that sound. That might work. That could be cool. Let's try that. Okay, and then we'll go out. All right, so here's the idea. We're gonna have just this first two stuff playing. Is it there? Okay. This seems gratuitous, this whole setup. Have you ever looked at someone's modular system? Costs, just a small box of modular costs more than this. Trust me. But yeah, this is definitely a little gratuitous in terms of like my performance stuff. I want to stick with the Elektron boxes, which have taken me many years to gather all together here, because they are not cheap. However, worth the money, there's no doubt. They're by far my favorites. I can't seem to like switch over. I played on the Poly-N Play quite a bit over the weekend, and the Poly-N Play is really cool. And you know, if it's sampled well, it would be probably on the table right now. I'd probably be playing with it because it really is so easy to make patterns, and it does sound good. And the effects on it are fine, and the performance effects are pretty usable and pretty fun. It's kind of like it's like a better sounding Deluge, but the Deluge does more, or it has more functions. It's more of an all-in-one box. It even has a little built-in speaker, which, you know, it doesn't sound great, but it gets the job done if you're like out at a cabin in the woods or whatever. Circo, interested in the TX-6 for sure. Yeah, yeah, you should check it out. I mean, it's cool. We know what's gratuitous. Gratuitous is the right word. This is gratuitous unless you have a function for it. And I feel like, but it's like, it's not something you need to have. It's definitely like, it's a bonus to have it. And I'm fortunate enough that I was able to get one. I do work at a synthesizer shop, so you must imagine that I'm just surrounded by this stuff all day long. And I am. I'm constantly playing with this stuff. New stuff, unreleased stuff, old stuff, used stuff. I mean, it's all getting in my hands. I'm playing with it. It's like you go into the barber shop enough times, you're going to end up getting a haircut. That's me. I'm always at the barber shop, so I'm constantly getting a haircut, aka getting new pieces of gear, because I'm just hanging out where the gear is all the time. It's hard not to get new gear. It's only fair. It's only fair. Just sold my Deluge for a Syntakt and honestly haven't looked back. Maybe I will someday, but I'll probably just get a Digitact if I need sampling. You know, I really like the Syntakt. I think the Digitact is still number one. I still think it's the best one. It just gets the job done. I think sampling, well, not everybody wants to sample. Some people just want the synthesizer sounds. Some people just want to go on their computer and get curated perfect sounds. More power to you. I think that's a really good avenue because it's going to make you sound really good. It's going to make your music sound a lot better because it's going to have polished, EQ'd, compressed audio that's going to sit well in most mixes. You're just adjusting the volume at that point. You just pick stuff that fits. And so I think that's a great idea. I personally have spent so much of my hard-earned money on synthesizers like the Prophet 5, you know, and all of the modular that I have on the other side of the room that's out of the picture. There's a whole 14U of modular over there that I have been again playing on lately. Ever since I moved it away from this setup and gave it its own like spot to hang out with, it's brought me back to playing with my modular because I've been kind of just like overwhelmed by the possibility that modular offers. There's just so much, you know, and it's just like, I'm not using this, I'm not using that. It's like, you have to like, once you get to a certain point of like having so much modular gear, you kind of have to make a decision. What am I doing when I power on my modular? Am I trying to write a whole track on the modular? Is it going to do the drums, the bass, and the leads and all that? Am I going to program that all in a modular sequencer? Is that going to be easy? You know, I do have a NerdSeek, so sure, I can program that stuff and memorize it pretty well in the NerdSeek. Yeah, it's one of the better ones at doing that, but still, it's still a pain in the ass compared to, you know, all the buttons and knobs that I have available here versus, you know, doing this thing I'm doing. Like you are with the M8's faster by like a long shot than the NerdSeek. NerdSeek's really great though. If you're gonna get a tracker in your modular, I think that's where it's at. But I'm glad I separated the two, and I still have a line coming from that side of the room, and it comes over here, it comes around this, comes up the table back here, and feeds into my Digitact. So for instance, like, let me switch back over to the Syntakt here. Where are we? So for instance, with this song, that's my modular. That bass line is the Manus Aeternus by Noise Engineering running into the MCFX2. So I'm doing some cool filtering with that. So it's a dual filter and I'm feeding them into each other so I could get some really weird stuff going on. Then I'm sequencing some envelopes to the filter cutoff. Then after that, I'm taking all the filter outputs and plugging them into the Jumble Henge, which is another filter, but it's a filter that chooses different EQ points to separate in the stereo field. So you can have like left side with the lows and the right side with the highs, and you can have all these different inputs. So I have inputted a bunch of filtered outputs into those filter inputs through the stereo field. And it's one of my favorite combos now. Like I use the Jumble Henge constantly. I think it's really cool and super great for making interesting new stereo samples. However, I sampled it into my Digitakt, right? So it got sampled down to mono. But it still sounds really good. It's still like you capture the timbre of that. So I do recommend it. I'm actually going to put this away. Well, no, let's do the one thing that I was talking about doing real quick. Turn that back down. So we could just start with the bass line. What? It's like not in sync. You hear that? That's one of my echo freezes. It's supposed to be a half note perfectly. So this isn't gonna work, sadly. A good experiment to do on stream. Fortunately, it's really easy for me to just move these because they're all battery powered and use tiny little cables. So it's not really a big deal. So here's the idea of what it would be like anyway. Let's just play with filters or something. That sucks. Yeah, it's basically unusable. Okay, well, that's not what we're gonna use that gear for. So the idea for it, right, was that if I could have this, and maybe if I have switch the clock around so the clock is coming from the OP1 going into the Octatrack, but then I'm gonna get pops and clicks with some of my effects, and I don't like that, so. Until they can get that sync figured out, which they never have, so I don't know, maybe they never will. But it was just an idea anyway. Let me regurgitate the idea. The idea was the Octatrack is going to send MIDI clock out, and I'm going to have these, these 4-bar, 8-bar loops. Doesn't matter, whatever loop amount I want. And then you can do the shift plus the arrow button, and you can move your loop, right? And that's how you perform on the OP1. Play with the filter and the different effects and do that whole thing. Well, the idea was that I would do that and have a bunch of, variations of my patterns written out on the OP1, and then switch those segments, use the Octatrack to transition to those different segments. However, every time I use any of the effects that I like to use, they're off. The timing is off because the OP1's clock is not my friend, apparently. So that sucks. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back to this track that I'm working on. I'm trying to decide how I want to start it, but I think I'd start it like this. All right, this brings me to another topic, right? So let's talk a little bit. So if anybody who's been watching the Elektron talks, and this is like probably a couple months ago because it's been like a month since I've done this, and maybe this one isn't as adventurous and fun as some of them have been, just because I was trying to do this stuff with OP1, but it's just not going to fly. But I usually talk about, since the Syntakt come out, I've many times mentioned, where does it fit here, right? And I finally came to the conclusion that the Syntakt is my new monosynth. And that has kind of solved it for me. So now I have my drums over here, vocal samples. And I do like my drums over here because I do like the drums that the Syntakt does, and some songs call for Syntakt drums, so I can do that. But for the most part, I'm sticking with my drums over here. I like my kicks, I like my snares, I like my hats. I think they're my sound, and I want to keep them. So if I want these sounds, I can sample them into there if I'd like, or just sequence them over here. It doesn't matter. But the point is that I've decided that I know what I'm doing with this, and it's just whatever I need in the mix that's missing, the Syntakt will provide. Since it has the cycles engines and it has the rhythm engines and it's got an analog bass synth. I was using the Erica DB01, which is a really good choice, but I get a lot more out of this because I get the really dope sequencer right here. And using the bend here kind of gives me that slide sound that you would like, that the DB01 can do so well. So I can get actually more acid sounds out of this than I could the DB01 because it doesn't really do acid sounds very well. It does a lot of other great sounds. That Polyvox filter's killer, but I think this is kind of cutting it for me. Let's see. Like the synth, the analog synth on here. Sounds good. And what I've kind of been doing is using the effects track on here as a second filter for everything. Not for everything. Been using it as a second filter for my bass lines on here. Let me see what the chat's saying. Sorry, I've been distracted. Oh, I need the Syntakt and the Analog Heat Mark II. Analog Heat Mark 1 or Mark II. They are the same. So if you find a Mark 1, just snag it. That's way cheaper. Jake says, my Syntakt just got back from repair and I swear the VCO engine sounds so much better. I think it was out of tune before they replaced the guts. Oh, so that's totally a possibility now that we're talking about an analog synthesizer rather than these digital machines here. Now we have this analog component that can happen. The tuning caliber, the calibration setup can malfunction and it can go out of tune, you know, and it will get hot. It's already hot. This thing's super hot. OP1 Field and Mixer, Christmas and birthday back to back. Yeah. That'd be pretty good. Mike Asinus says, my Digatone makes me feel like Prince. Good. Circo, man, after my heart, Elektron stuff, great synths, and now modular, just getting there. Yeah, I saw that you were getting into modular, Circo. You went off the deep end real fast. You have a very similar system to me. Probably have some similar ideas in mind, I imagine. Literally just got my M8 yesterday that I ordered back in April, Lee Luna. Congratulations. The M8 is awesome. I don't know, like, I'm just so stuck playing these because I've been like, lately I've been like having shows to play, and so like I don't have time to mess around with another piece of gear. Like I have to be prepared with what I already know well, because I don't want to go play shows with stuff that I'm like performing on the M8. Although Mikey303 did it, he has a whole different thing for doing it. They're pre-built songs, and then he's using his DJ mixer effects to move through those songs and muting and unmuting on the M8. That's not really my workflow, so I like to bring elements in that are waiting to be unmuted and stuff. So it's a different workflow that I haven't gotten used to, that he does super well. And I would like to do that, but that would require me to write out these songs and their changes and everything on the M8, and I just haven't had time to do that because I'm stuck doing this. I'm not stuck, but I'm choosing to do this because it's what I know and I want to be good when I play live. No way, totally bought the Syntakt was making that bass. The Syntakt was making that bass. Oh, this bass. The one on here. Oh no. That's a digital bass line. Nah, Syntakt can't make that bass. That's too weird. That's way too weird. Is everything running into the Octatrack, says Mike. Yes, everything is running into the Octatrack. So I have this channel splitter here for external gear when I want to switch it up and I don't want this side of things, so it splits up what's happening in inputs C and D, so I can switch between the OP1 Field and the TX-6, which I just shut off because they're not doing what I want them to do tonight. Is everything, if you have an OP1, would my money be better spent on Analog Heat and Syntakt rather than the Field? Why yada? With a question like that. I mean, to be fair, like I think if you want to write, it depends on what kind of musician you are. Are you into sequencers? Because if you like a good sequencer and you want to write your music on a sequencer, then yeah. The Analog Heat and the Syntakt. I would get, instead of the Analog Heat and the Syntakt, I would get the Syntakt and like the Digitakt, or the Syntakt and the Digatone, or Syntakt and a polysynth, I don't know. Or the Syntakt and a Mark 1 OP1. No, I wouldn't do that. I would get an OP1 Field before I got that, but yeah, I would probably get a Syntakt before I got an OP1 Field. Just because I think you're gonna write productions on your Syntakt that I think you're going to keep. And you're going to do more like sketches on your OP1 Field. I don't know. That might be blasphemy to some people. I'm not sure. If the notes for the master volume on those, the clipping, and the sum on the octa has been really annoying for you lately. The notes for the master volume on those. You're having clipping? Well, you shouldn't have clipping. Not really sure. Oh, so pretty. Richard, what's up, my dude? Richard, you're the best. We love Richard. Everybody loves Richard. Okay, so I'm gonna get back over to this song. It's so hot in here, it's quite distracting. So that bass line is the Syntakt. And that ethereal wash is the Digitone. So here's just the Syntakt. I'm doing modulation of the Syntakts bass dual VCO track on the effects track, and I'm only running that track into the effects track because I'm just using the effects track as a secondary filter with some sequencing, similar to what I was doing with my modular system. I'm just doing that over here. I'm thinking so I'm trying to this is the kind of music I like. I've been writing a lot of housey poppy stuff on my Elektron boxes, but now that I have something that can make these tones, you can make some of these tones on the Digitone, but the analog oscillator and the filtering that's on here is just a different sound that you absolutely cannot get on either one of these boxes. And that's why it has to be here. It's doing something really good for me. And I feel like this setup is complete. I don't need any more. I do have an analog heat that it's not plugged into. And that's strictly just because, I don't remember what it was actually, honestly. There was a reason why I took the heat. It's sitting in the closet at the moment. There's something weird going on with it, I thought. I should probably dig it back out. There's probably nothing wrong with it. User error, usually. All right. All right, I'll turn this up a little bit. How does EZBOT use the analog heat? I use the analog heat as a master effect. I was kind of using it as a coloring limiter. There are tools, let me just say this. There are pieces of gear that do a much better job than the analog heat at being a master effect. I think the analog, somebody like Ivar Treaty, right? He uses it as a distortion unit and plays with the envelopes and the envelope follower. That's how it's supposed to be used. The way I've been using it has been just an auxiliary tool to fatten up the mix. I was using the EQ with a little bit of high end to brighten stuff up, and then I was using it as kind of a limiter, as I mentioned, and mostly using it on clean. I do like how you can do the dry wet mix plus the wet mix separately, so you can really dial it in perfectly. And so that's what I was using it as, which is actually honestly kind of a novice way to use it, in my opinion. I think that a lot of people are doing it that way because it does sound really good, but like I said, there are better tools, like a Warm Audio stereo bus compressor has its own character too that will warm it up. It's all analog, and it has a high pass filter on it, so you can filter out your kick and your snare from the mix so that they still punch. It has a sidechain input. It's the same price as the analog heat, and it will be in your rack forever, and you'll probably use it on all your mixes. So I think tools like that are like maybe a better pick if that's what you want to do with your analog heat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right. I'm probably not right. Whenever I think I'm right, that's probably the time that I'm wrong. All right, back to this track. composition could have been a little cleaner, but it did work. The darkness. Why did that not stop it the first time? I hit the stop button. Everybody saw me hit that button. That's twice now. It's twice today. The stop button didn't stop my track. Why is that? Can I not hit stop while I'm holding the mute button? Let's find out. You can't use the stop button while holding scene B. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Holy cow. There's still stuff to learn? Oh my god. This box, dude. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna reload these projects. Because I messed with stuff and I needed everything to be back the way it was. So there's something missing from the track. The idea is that this is a 2-pattern song. Both the songs that I've played tonight are 2-pattern songs. And this one, once I get this, the first song I played with the cool bass line from the modular synth, it has its own setup where it has its pattern 1 has its own vibe to it, and pattern 2 is kind of a breakdown vibe, okay? And then I return back to pattern 1 from pattern 2. Now, most of my songs, I don't go back from the pattern that I just moved to, the second segment. Usually you would just move forward and keep moving through patterns, or that second pattern is the second half of that song. But in that song, I return back to it because I think it sounds awesome to go back, because it feels like a verse, chorus, verse type track. But this one, this like techno, darker techno style, I don't know if I can call it techno, but it's that BPM, and it's got quite a bit of that vibe, 4 on the floor. And it needs to be a real crescendo at the end. Crescendo at the endo. Whoa. Pattern 1. There we go. Pattern 1, bank 1, pattern 11. So it's this right here. Okay. Okay, so because this is all being ducked by the Octatrack, this is being ducked, this is being ducked, this is not being ducked. And then I have this percussion track. I'll unmute all this stuff here. You can barely hear it. It's just like some auxiliary sound. It makes no difference whether it's there or not. So I'm gonna kill it, I think. We're gonna kill this sound, because it doesn't do anything for me. What I do need, what I really want, is to go into like more of like this like Daft Punk housey French house vibe towards the end of the track. And I would love if I had like some orchestral sounds, but I don't have any of them right now. So that's, you know, kind of out of the picture at the moment. That's why I want to get a Prophet X. That would be my next like flagship synthesizer, would be a Prophet X. Could like, I don't know where I'd put it. I don't know. But I would like it because it has just an immense amount of sounds in it. Every instrument I could think of in one box. I don't have to go to my computer ever and just play it and mess with the mic settings, like how far away the microphone is from the instrument. Like it's crazy what it can do. It can do granular stuff, all sorts of cool stuff. So I figure it would cover most of my bases. So I think what I want is to put something melodic on this track. So I'm just going to go through some of the samples I maybe already have loaded. The Rev 2 might sound good here. Let's see. Could. Give it a little vibrato. Okay. Or we could have something plucky, maybe? We could just do this. Forward looping. Oh, that's kind of nice. No, that's nuts. I don't know if that's the sound. I honestly don't know what sounds to put over this because it already sounds like pretty finished. I definitely don't care about this over here. Maybe we don't add anything to it. I'm like, when I come across the problem that I'm like trying to add something onto a song, it often means like when it's a problem and I can't seem to pick a sound, because often it's like any sound works. You know, you're just like anything that will fill that gap because there's clearly a gap missing in your track, right? You just keep adding, and then eventually it's like, oh, now I have competing sounds. Like, maybe your song's done. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe you're done. Maybe it's time to write the next pattern, or it's time to move on to a new song. And I think that this song is probably just done. You know what I mean? I guess this is just how it ends. But maybe we could go down to like something that continues from it. Man, scratching my brain here. Oh man, what's going on? Gnarly. Had Octatrack 2 times, sold it 2 times. I've probably had like 5 Octatracks so far. Duck, duck, goose. Every guitarist needs to start in their quiver. Every electronic musician needs an Octatrack in theirs. Yeah. Industrial. Yes, it is. And I do like writing industrial music. It's really smooth, maybe some more gritty and plucky to counter that. Gritty and plucky. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I just don't. I don't hear anything. Like I heard I can hear like some sort of like violin, or not violin, but just some sort of orchestral sounds that are like filtered out and in the background a bit to just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe we move back over to this one here. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I remember now. I wanted to have like a... Maybe we'll just delete this pattern. Do I have it saved somewhere else though? Yeah, I have it in a different project. I mean, do I want to keep it here? I was thinking I could continue this song, and I wanted to start adding like these whole like breakdowns that are like 2 or 3 minutes long of a complete breakdown where it's the same song but clearly we're in a whole nother vibe, and then bring it back up to a crescendo and then have the song end there. So like maybe move things onto 4 patterns from 2 patterns. Songs will be like a whole hell of a lot longer that way, and there's a lot more stuff that I'll have to do, but it might be a nicer sound and feel more complete. I don't know. My strat is 303 and 909 for dance music. Pure Acid on iOS is so good. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, iOS sounds like iPad instruments sound so good. It's ridiculous. Oh, that art part was nice. So just like for those, because like the title of the stream has like OP1 field and TX-6, just for those of you who are like maybe popped in or like, where's the OP1 field and TX-6 stuff? What are we doing stuff with that? We're not doing stuff with that because the idea that I had was to clock it from the Octatrack, and the OP1 cannot keep up. So it's just like it moves a little bit out of sync on the tape with the Octatrack, and that doesn't happen here. These are perfectly synced, as you've heard already. But this just can't do it, unfortunately. So that's why we're not doing more with the TX-6, because I'm not gonna be able to get what I want out of it. I think this continues to be a sketch pad for me and continues to be like a cool polysynth. I still need to add. I was gonna make a multi sample out of the drum machine to put like really nice piano sounds on there, and 1 note per each note on this keyboard, so I have really good fidelity. And I do plan to do that so that I have this portable, really nice grand piano and this portable electric piano and all of that. I think it will be absolutely worth it at that point. But as far as using its tape function, the actual tape player function in a live performance with my Elektron gear, it's probably never going to fly until they get MIDI sync to be like totally perfect, and it totally should be, but it's not. But until they get that perfect, I just can't use it for its main feature, which is being able to record to tape. So that's going to have to be, maybe music written on the OP1 just stays written on the OP1. Like that's where those tracks happen, and I'm totally cool with that. It doesn't have to be integrated into the setup. It's just too much stuff anyway. Like I already broke my rule by having a Syntakt here, right? It's supposed to just be 3 boxes because it's really easy to perform with 3 boxes. There's not a ton of stuff to do. We have 12 tracks. You play with those tracks, you do Control Alt, maybe you even mess with the sequences. At this point, because I have so many boxes going on, I'm already ignoring some of the tricks that I used to do to keep the music feeling fresh in these boxes and playing more on my Octatrack's effects, just because there's too many sounds all over the place. Even though for the most part in this moment, I'm really only using like 2 or 3 of the tracks from the Syntakt of the 12 that it has to offer. Because I'm utilizing most of the sounds on my Digitact and my Digatone first. Because if I want polysynth, if I want chords, and I do, I love chords, I'm gonna go to my Digatone. Even though, I do like... this engine sounds good. I'll play this song. We'll see. Is this song going to be worth making the cut? Bye, Circo. Thanks for modding while on your flight. that was all Syntakt. Except for the kick drum, the very first pattern was the Digitact, because I'm slowly taking some of the drum sounds from here when I originally wrote it and moving it over to the Digitact. Because I don't need to, I just want to, because I have 2 filters for my drums on the Digitact, and I don't over here. I do on the digital side, but I don't want digital drums. I want to use these analog drums, so I'm using the 2 filters on the Digitact so that I can, you know, have really clean mix. They need to add the digital filter to the analog VCOs, the analog machines. That would be a game changer, and you would also be able to make like crazy new sounds having an analog filter that runs into a digital filter. Having them crisscross modulation with the 2 LFOs, like whole huge amount of sound design could come from that. So I like the sounds from the Syntakt. That music that I just played was something I can't make on the Digitact, really, without sampling some really interesting sounds. Who's this love chat? Get the fuck out of here. Should I make them a moderator? Bye. Good lord. Sometimes. The internet. Always on the attack. How's everybody doing? You guys all staying cool? Because it is hot. Hot, hot, hot. It's not usually this hot in Washington. I used to live in Florida. I did for a while, at least. I'm from Washington, but I lived in Florida for 5 years. And it's real hot there, but everywhere has AC. That works really well. We don't have that here in Washington. Nobody has AC. I bought an AC. But it's not cutting it. Is it cutting it out there? Is it cold enough out there? It's still hot in here. It's so hot it hurts. Good lord. Trying my best. Dying, to be honest. Yeah. Nico? Hi. What's going on? Welcome. Welcome to Elektron Talk. So yeah, I want to write some music with a breakdown in it. I want to write some breakdowns. That's what I want to do. Let me get back over to the song. So the reason why we even played that is because I'm on 11 and 12 are the songs I was just playing. Maybe we should go like that. When we go from... When this pattern ends, this is how the second one will start. Maybe we should put a crash. So this is something I experimented with. Actually, this is something worth talking about. On this track, see how track 8 is unmuted? Let me just... Super simple snare groove. I'm gonna make it a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna add some toms to it, so it's like you know, some interesting drum movements. So I have a dedicated track for my fill condition. So when this condition hits, it removes this triggers. I have these snare hits on when I use the fill condition to not play. And over here, just a simple snare pattern that I have. But then on the 1, we have a crash cymbal. So I can do stuff like this. It's cool, right? Check this out. That right there. I think it totally works. I like that. So a dedicated snare track, since I have all the tracks in the universe, because we have the Syntakt doing its thing. Why not have a dedicated fill track? Totally works. And actually found it's like kind of a fun project. Ooh, I'm gonna go and design some cool fills. Although it just sounds like to me like more work to do, but are you into electro, EZBOT? Would love to hear your take on electro on these boxes. I kind of thought that's what I did. I don't know. I'm not good at figuring out what a genre is. I kind of thought I made electro, or yeah, electronica, I guess. I don't know, but I like the idea of having a dedicated fill track. We could even like, do we have any toms in here already? Shit. You know what? That's frustrating. We could actually just go in here. Let's just go into the samples library. Artificial percussion. Maybe we want something a little bit more familiar. Drums and sample magic. Probably has some good stuff. Whoa. Whoa, that's a killer kick. Let's take that with us anyway. So is that. Let's take that one too. That one too. Good lord. I haven't even listened to these samples yet. Ooh, bongos. Take these bongos. And that one. Okay. Load to project. Load 5 samples. Cool. And then let's go ahead and go back into our sample menu here. And hold on here. No, let's go to view RAM. And then select unused. Oh wait, no, we don't want to select unused. We just grabbed all the samples and we haven't used them yet, and it'll just... I was about to remove the samples I just grabbed. When it comes to your own music, I always think it's hard to slot it into a genre. I agree with that. I don't think too much about genre when I'm making stuff. I just make music I like. Yes. Same here. Analog Rhythm Mark II or Digitact? What are you recommending? Digitact. For sure. Analog Rhythm Mark II is awesome. Yeah, they're not the same thing. They don't do the same stuff. The workflow on them is different. The sequencer's the same. The sounds are different. The rhythm does a lot more in terms of sound, but the Digitact is going to be a lot faster and easier for you to make music with, like, right away. And I find that more complementary to my performance and my production. The faster I can sit down and do this. I don't know about you, but especially if you're an American, we work 40-hour weeks, if not more. I work more than 40 hours a week. And I don't have that much time to make music. So I'm often looking for something that's going to make music really fast for me. I'm always trying to build a system that's like really quick. I wish I had lived somewhere that, life wasn't like that. And maybe I will one day. Get to that place where I don't have to work so much to do so little. Let me turn this microphone up. There we go. Back. So I just picked up an OT. Where's the bubbly? Yo, Calderwood. It's right here, brother. Think I would miss that? Here, just for you. Coconut for you, Calderwood. Sponsor me, LaCroix. Sponsor me. They're not going to. They don't care about me. Big Pharma LaCroix. Cheers to you. Are you sharing your Digitact Digatone templates? I don't have a template for the Digitact and the Digatone. I have a template for the Octatrack that I'm sharing. I share all my Octatrack stuff. If anybody wants it, they can have it for sure. I've shared some sounds of like tiny little synthesis sound pack I made for the Digitact, where it's literally just synthesized sounds from the oscillators that the Digitact provides. So you just download the sound file and it just works on your Digitact, which is cool. And they are more complex sound design. They're like actual cool synthesis patches. You can find those on my Patreon. In terms of like, and then I shared a project file and a sample pack, but no templates. I like to start from scratch on these boxes. I like to start from scratch on the Octatrack too. Not in terms of a performance template. I always end up making the same effects every time I start from scratch. I'll put a high pass, low pass filter, some sort of like lo-fi crunchy thing, a bunch of echo freezes. I love my echo stuff. I love that stuff. So I end up making it again. I think it's a lot of fun, and it freezes your song so you can move to another segment during that time period. So I can be like, okay. I was making a point about something. Oh yeah, it was the snare, the drum fill track, dedicated track for drum fills. So we grabbed some samples. Let's go ahead and let's throw them in here. Wherever they went. Sadly, you can't like search by recently added. I don't know where they got put to. Let's see. Ugh. How will I ever find them? Maybe I won't be able to find them. It's all over, man. Percussion bongo. There we go. Okay. Throw that in there. Throw it in there. We already got a trig condition. Trig fill. Trig fill. Where were we? Here? Damn it. That's just kind of funny. Probably should have done this when I laid the triggers down. Move these toms around. Damn it. These snares should also all be at different velocities or volumes. Okay. I like finding different combos for the effects too. This is kind of a cool combo. You use the LFO twist is the name I give it, into a tape stop. Let's see. LFO twist into a tape stop into a 16th note echo freeze. Let's see how that sounds. Damn it, wrong timing. Reverb is like overkill. That's kind of cool. Let's do a recording here. Yeah. Little effects combos are fun. I'm still a little bummed about the MIDI in the OP1 field. Really wish that had worked out the way I had hoped it would. They sync nicely with program changes. Yeah, like perfectly. If I want to bring the filter down on something and keep it at low as I move from A section into a B section. Yeah. Advantage, but also like being able to preserve parameters after switching patterns, which you can achieve if you sequence from the OT. Yeah, that is what I'm doing. Exactly that, in fact. It's cool. There's 26 people hanging out here on a Sunday night, all hanging out together in peace and harmony. I was just finished watching all the episodes that are available of this show called Moonhaven, which is on AMC Plus. And the premise is that humanity, the Earth is kind of a classic trope. Humanity's destroyed the Earth or whatever. The Earth sucks, it's dying. And so they send this artificial intelligent, whatever, this AI to the moon, this like super AI, and they start developing. Love chat's back. Thought I booted you. They start developing like, you know, a new kind of society, and which is very cool. And it's kind of like, I've been thinking about it a lot, actually. The show's kind of gotten into my brain about how they just like rethought society as a whole, and then they have to bring that new society to Earth and try and get people here to adopt the way of the moon folk. And so far it's been pretty cool. Like a pretty decent budget. Anyway, some people should check it out. Early morning in Sweden. Oh, what's up, Sweden? Go over to Elektron Studios for me and tell them to add a second filter on the analog engines, if you would, for the Syntakt. I would really appreciate that. If you could pass that message along in person, be a little pushy about it, if you don't mind. I'd sure like that. Okay. Yeah, so pretty lax stream for today. I'll talk a little bit about I'll show off some of the sounds that you can get, how the compressor sounds on the OP1 field, and just people know that's that sound. That's the sound of that USB drive. To unplug it, plug it back in, and then it works. Anyway, we'll just go to some... I mean, the sample engine sounds so good. It's really impressive. You can just do stuff like this on here and you're like, that's good enough for me. And now it's in stereo, so it actually sounds pretty full. Alright, I'm just gonna lock this sequence and then go over to the TX-6 here. And I know you can't see it, and you don't need to, because it's the screen's so tiny, even if I zoomed in, you still wouldn't be able to see it really well. But if you hold the shift button and hit one of these track buttons, right now I have them set up to be mutes. We're going in on channel 1. I can set up a high-pass, low-pass filter, like a not like a DJ performance filter, which I do have access to, but that's not the point of this filter. This is just more like the bass width filter on the Syntakt, Digatone. If I hit it again, I can go into my 3-band EQ. Let's check out how the 3-band EQ sounds per track. I'm clipping those mids. Let me turn this master sound down here. So I'm bringing up the mids right now. We're up 13 dB, 14 dB on the mid band. This is 18 dB on the mid band, and this is as high as the mid band goes. We can remove 18 dB, the mid. Cool. So you can do some really minor boosts. Like we could just boosting this up in a little bit of the mid range actually sounds kind of good, but all right, let's go back down to 0. Let's check out the lows. On our way up to 18 dB in the low band here. That's 18 dB in the low band. We brought out a lot from that kick drum. That's full removal of 18 dB. Let's check out the high end real quick. That's as high as it goes on the high end here. And as low as it goes. So it moves in, so it goes like, so strange. There's no like, way to adjust it in smaller amounts or something. Like you can't move in decimal amounts, it moves in these like random jumps. Sometimes it jumps up 0.3, sometimes it's 0.4. I don't know, they have some sort of math going on that I don't understand. Alright. Here's our compressor, which has actually been on this whole time with OP1, so. So I'm gonna turn up the compressor on this little drum track we got going on. So it's up pretty high now. Compressor turned off. So it's a one knob compressor. So as it's compressing, you don't get to adjust the gain of the signal. It's going to gain the signal for you. So you have to do some like volume adjustments of your incoming audio on a different machine if you want to do gain matching with a compressor, which is what you do, right? When you usually use a compressor, you're like, you want to have equal volumes, right? We want to have matching decibel values, but we want to have a louder sound with the same decibel. And that's not what this does. This is more like I said, just a one knob compressor. It actually sounds great. Like, it's a great sounding compressor. It compresses more than the Digitakt's compressor does. Digitakt's compressor has got a lot more options though, so plus it has like a sidechain filter. So that's the compressor. Then you just have straight up gain adjustments. And you have stereo panning. What's really cool though is that you can set up, this is okay, let me tell you my favorite parts about the TX-6. Just while people are here and there might be, maybe we'll watch this stream. This is a less informative stream than I typically do. But my favorite parts about the TX-6 is, one, it's super portable. The battery lasts forever. It's really well built. And it's an audio interface in my pocket. And I am one of the few folk out there that travels around with a camera and goes and makes video stuff, right? For a job. So this makes sense for me working in music gear. Does it make sense for everybody? Not really. It makes sense. It's almost like built for me. So it works really well for what I'm doing. But typically it might be overkill for most folks that want to spend $1,000 on an audio interface. This is not the audio interface that you get. You want phantom power, you want XLR inputs, you want 1/4-inch jacks, and you want multiple outputs where you can have dedicated audio go to send in returns. And this does have this aux send thing that it can do, which is cool. So you can process external effects into it. So that is one of the pluses, actually, is that you can process external effects. But to have this just like in your bag wherever you go and always have a mixer with EQ compressor, stereo, and it can connect to your computer so that you can either make content or work on your stuff. And it works as a headphone amplifier as well. This is really great for that. It's kind of like a little wonder tool. And I really like that. But my favorite parts about it has got to be that it has a compressor per channel. I think that's really, really dope. And an EQ per channel, and I have been using the compressor and the EQ pretty often when I use it. And I do like the reverb and the delay, so let me show you that too. We'll just go over to a synth sound, which has got some effects on it. I'm gonna turn them off. Let's check out this check out this reverb. This is the large reverb. I have to turn my send on. So I'm sending it to the large reverb. Use a pluck. You get some plucky pluck stuff. Well, the reverb sounds good to me. medium reverb, light reverb. Then we have this thing called drone. It kind of creates this like super ambient wash. It's just a huge reverb. Sounds awesome. That's in this little box. It sounds really good. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's all the reverbs. Here's the chorus. Let's go to a different synth engine. So they have subtle chorus, which I think would sound good on a voice. And then here's medium, so pretty usable chorus. Makes it super stereo. I'm not using the stereo in here. There's no stereo coming from this. So it's all coming here. Here's strong. It's too strong. Still usable, but barely. And then the next one. That's it. Okay, now the delays. There's a bunch of different delays, and you can clock sync the delays, and it does work. The clock sync works pretty well. Both of these devices, when it comes to like their timing, is a little off. The delay works fine with MIDI clock, like it functions perfect, so no problems there. But the little tape loopy thingy, the ping pong tape trick that it does that you can do on here, I'll show you in a second. It's not in perfect sync. It has a hard time. And without the clock, it's completely on its own, in its own world, doing what it does. And then you clock it, and it gets a little bit better, but it's still like, it's not, honestly, it's not usable for a live performance, in my opinion. Maybe it is maybe it is if this is clocking your OP1, then maybe it would work. I don't know. Let's check out the delay. So this is 1/8 beat. Here's 1/4. I think it sounds good. They said they're studio grade effects, and I do agree. They are studio grade effects. Like, these are usable. You could use that on an album. 2/3. Three-quarter. This is being clocked by my Octatrack. And they have these really long delays. And then warp? I don't even know what this is. Sounds cool though. I'm glad I have it. See how drums sound with it. That's kind of cool. Let's check out MASH. So these are Teenage Engineering effects that they designed. I know that Cow was designed by some other designer and they adopted it into Teenage Engineering gear. But I think they designed this MASH and Warp. And that's all of the main effects that you get. But then you get these like toggle effects, like here's ping pong. Turn it on. So to me, I don't understand how that is useful. I don't know. But you have a couple different versions of it, and you have your tape stop. I like the tape stop. I think it sounds better than... Sounds different than my tape stop. That's my tape stop that I designed on the Octatrack. And then here's Teenage Engineering's tape stop. I think mine sounds more like a reel, like got loose and it's like joom 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 joom. And this sounds like an actual tape stop. So I think they probably nailed it. I think they beat me in terms of it being a real tape stop sound. You have two different versions of the tape stop. It's all right. Then this filter is actually pretty cool. But if it's engaged at all, it cuts, no matter what. It's kind of interesting thing they did. So no matter what, the filter is going to cut off your high end at a pretty low point. So it cuts off a lot of your high end. Then we have a bit crush type thing. With a bunch of different choices, and I actually think they sound cool. And then distortions. And they're just clipping me, clipping you, for you to listen to. And then a tremolo, which is kind of cool. Now, if the tremolo has like a good clock, like if this clocks well, then the tremolo will work really well. But if it doesn't clock well, then the tremolo will sound whack because it needs to be rhythmic. Am I getting bamboozled by this this chatbot? Hide user on this channel. How many times do I gotta do that? Do they just keep coming back? Unbelievable. Bunch of monsters. Then we have this cool freeze effect. Which at the really low end has like a bunch of pops and clicks. So unless you're gonna do it really quickly, like have a performance going, it's because of the pops and clicks, it's like maybe not as usable. And maybe those pops and clicks exist because it's being clocked from another device. I don't really know. So that's all the effects on there. the EQ, the compressor, panning. The other cool stuff it does is like it memorizes different scenes that you want to have. So if I'm like, oh, it's going to be my audio interface, I can load a scene that is the audio interface scene, which maybe has, panning, an EQ, and compressor, or panning, FX send, and compressor, and then I can have another scene that's like for performance. So maybe this knob is a high pass, low pass DJ filter. Maybe this is an FX send 1, and maybe this is FX send 2 for live performance. That I think is pretty cool. So it's definitely cool. There's no doubt. I don't think anyone can argue that it's not a cool box and that it does have potential. It is a little expensive, but I think for considering what it can do and the size and the battery power, maybe this thing is more aptly priced than the OP1 Field. The OP1 Field I love dearly, and I think it's so beautiful. It's a little buggy-ish sometimes. I have more of a love-hate relationship with it at the moment. I love it, and I also am frustrated with it here and there. But it is pretty great sounding, and it's definitely a huge upgrade from the old OP1, the original OP1. Although I do think the original OP1 has a better build, a different build, I would say. This feels a lot more delicate. The original one felt like invincible, like it just couldn't break. So I don't know if I really accomplished much of my goal today that I wanted to accomplish. It's 10 o'clock, so I'm going to be done streaming here. But for everyone who hung out, thanks for hanging out. If you want to get the performance template that you heard me playing on, all those different effects, you can find that on my Patreon, so patreon.com/EZBOT. Or you can get it from my Ko-fi profile, also EZBOT. And check it out if you'd like, and send me comments if you find any bugs. Let me know. Go into the Discord and let people know you're alive and happy. Just go there and hang out and chat. And you can ask me questions about the aux track there, or other folks there, lots of experts, so feel free to join the Discord and hang out. I'm very hot still. This has been a difficult stream to do because it's just so damn warm in my studio right now. So it's a little hard to be focused, which is partly why I'm going to be done for now. But for everyone who hung out, thank you so much. You're the best. I will see you all again on Elektron Talk episode 18, where maybe we'll talk a little bit more about Elektron stuff rather than what this is not doing, and talk more about music production, maybe make a song from scratch, which is what I usually like to do on stream. My whole plan got completely kaputzed, terminated by the clocking issue with the aux track and the OP1 Field, so I had this whole plan for the stream today, which was going to be writing music on here, and then using the performance mixer, but it didn't work. So, and I don't see it working anytime soon. How is the OT DJ template going, Toyo? What's up, Toyo? It is. I have not really started on it right now. I just released a new update for the regular performance template that uses two separate machines, or two separate sections, as many machines as you want, separated into two sections, percussion, melody. So if you want to check that out, that's available. In terms of the DJ template, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I know that I'm going to put the main track, whatever song you want to remix, on track 1, and then I'm going to have it be neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. And I would have it keep doing neighbors, but you can't neighbor from 4 to 5. Like, the octave track's so weird. It's digital, but it thinks in analog terms. So I can't neighbor track from 5 to 4, which is whack. So I can only have 3 neighbor tracks, which means we're going to have a max of 8 different serial effects, which is cool, and that's plenty. That's way more than I need. I really only need like 4, honestly, and that's what I've done with all the other effects. So it'll be 8 insert effects, and then a bunch of remix effects. I'll have some effects, a neighbor track to a flex track here for remixing the song live, so you can do a bunch of live remixing. And I will build this, and it will happen, and it won't take that long to get that part started. It's just like crafting all the effects and still feeling like I'm in beta from the original performance template. Like, not feeling like I'm at a 1.0 yet. I'm not like happy with everything. I want like all the numbers to line up nicely, and I want to put all the parts across the banks, which will take a really long time. Maybe I don't need to do that, but I like the idea of it being ready for people who want to grab this and just start making music. So yeah, there's a little bit of work to go, but yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. It's kind of a stranger stream compared to some of the other ones, but we got through it. And hopefully I'll get some sleep, even though I think that it's going to be too hot, like it has been for the last week, and it's been keeping me up. But we'll find out, won't we? We sure will. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. Visit my Patreon if you'd like to join the Patreon. Like and subscribe to my channel. Help promote my channel. All you have to do is hit the like button, and this stream will move up and elevate in the algorithm, and more folks will see it. And then next time we stream, we'll have more people in here chatting with us. And that part's always fun. So everyone take care. Have a great week, and I will see you next weekend, hopefully for episode 18. Bye.